Hello everyone, today we will be reviewing the Armored Assault Tank, or the AAT, with 286 pieces, rated for ages 7 and up, with 2 battle droids, one of them which is very specifically, the pilot, or driver, of the AAT, with the other one being a just standard battle droid, for some unknown reason, even though they are the exact same with no distinct differences whatsoever. They are styled after the Kashyyyk battle droids, being exactly identical to the Kashyyyk battle droids. You do get the updated Ahsoka Tano for the Clone Wars, and you also get a 332nd Trooper or an Ahsoka's Clone Trooper. Very good to see. This is the only set to date that has one of these figures, so a lot of people did buy this unfortunate release of a set for that AAT. Originally, in the original blueprints of this review, I did start off by having a 501st Battle Pack intro, and then being very disappointed to find out that we are going to be reviewing the AAT. I thought I'd mention that as a bit of trivia. So let's jump into this, as there isn't much to say other than the fact that I did modify it slightly by removing the end bit of the cannon, because it did need to be a little bit shorter because this barrel is just obscenely long. Now, if we turn it around to the back, we do get a little bit of glimpse of the planet, which I can't remember why Tordaria. I'm thinking of the Tordaria mission with Yoda, because the plant life. It could also be something else, but I'm thinking of Tordaria specifically for the first episode of Clone Wars, and that and the mission of it. So who knows if that's actually true? Sometimes I'm very confused by this box art. Now, of course, we do have "Played in the Skywalker Saga" written on the back of the box, as always. We do have some battle droids loading up the spring-loaded shooters. You do got the spring-loaded shooter activation. You do also have the swivel. You can also see where you can put some of your troopers, and the clone trooper looks as confused as ever. But let's move into the set, because my voice is dying. Quick thing, if you have ever seen a review with battle droids, or you've seen my fighter tank review, then this is probably going to be useless information for you, as we're just going to be reviewing some more battle droids, so skip ahead now. If not, we've got the darker gray blasters for both of these guys, which is pretty interesting. Now, if you were to ask me which one of these is the driver, I could not tell you, as they are both the same, with their darker lime green finish, or the sand green. It's very similar to both those colors. However, I don't think it's quite a sand green. And I am going to think that this is dark lime, as I've just brought in some sand green, which I picked up recently, and it is definitely a different color. So you do have some dark lime and also some dark green for these battle droids, the dark green being present at the nose of the battle droid. Now, you can also fold it up a little bit, so you can get a little bit of diversity, so you can get it in a battle ready position, which is already standing, or a pre-battle position, which is also quite interesting. Let's move on to something more interesting. Now, the 322nd Trooper is definitely really good to see as well. It is mostly a reuse of the 501st Trooper with the blue, but it does have a new helmet, so that's pretty interesting. The legs have a little bit of printing on the bottom, so that you do get a little bit of soles of the feet. It does move up with a bit of an indent to kind of indent the end of the shoes. You do get a bit of blue integration with the battle armor for the white there, which is pretty good. So you do get some kind of knee pads there with a little bit of lines to kind of drag you up to the little midpoint where you've got yourself the hips, and then it moves up with the belts, and then the indentation of the triangle to kind of point you upward. So a lot of decent coloration on the blue. There's not too much blue, so you're not overwhelmed by the blue, which is quite nice specifically for this trooper. I think for the 501st Trooper specifically, there could be a little bit more blue, but for this one, this works really well, because you do not get too overwhelmed by the blue and then go to the harsh orange, which does flow well together with this blue. You do get a little bit of armor detailing, but before we move on to the helmet, let's take a look at the back, which is just your regular clone armor plating. And if you saw it from behind, you would physically think that this is just a regular clone trooper, or phase 2 clone trooper, but no, you flip it over the back, you've got yourself a 332nd Trooper with a lot of good orange detailing. You also have the head detailing of the Ahsoka minifigure, which we'll get to in a second, up at the top there to kind of symbolize that this is in fact an Ahsoka Trooper with a little bit of light gray indentation for the below the orange bits on each side, which come together to make a really good figure. Unfortunately, there's only one in this set. We could have definitely used more, but LEGO does like to skip out on the good minifigures a good chunk of the time. For our final minifigure, we've got the Ahsoka Tano, found in the 7th season of Clone Wars. Now, this character does have a lot of detail, which is why we're going to take off the no, it's not like... It's, you know, I'm not gonna try to say words, because I am not going to do great at that. But we do not have any feet printing, but we do have some shoulder pads which transition into like the armor robe kind of setup, because we do have a lot of silver and it is made to be less like a Jedi robe, because at this point Ahsoka's not in the order. At this point it's going to be more of like an armor type thing, which doesn't have any sleeves located for Ahsoka because they did not want to print anything special, so you just do have the orange. But the armor itself, or the printing that is given for the armor, is very good. You do have a belt. You do have some like hip pads as well. You do have a little bit of stringiness to the robe itself, with the bit of the continuation of like kind of the armor plating, and a little bit less detail on this side, but you do now get the angry face with the same painting that is done at the front. Except on the front, you do have a much happier expression. If we add this back, you do get a little bit of armor piecing for the head bit, and on the back you just have a continuation of those stripe colors going down a little bit past the legs, with the back of the legs not having any detail, with just 2 standard lightsabers. So let's move on to the worst part of the set, which is the build itself. Seeing as most people will probably care more about the dewback in the back than the actual AAT, we'll speed run this a bit. Now at the top of it, it does have a bit of antenna bits with a place to kind of store one of your commander droids or your Kashyyyk droids. Depending on how you want to look at it, you can fold it in to fit it like that, or you can have it standing up so that you can have the lid open. Now, moving forward to the barrel, I have taken off the 2 end pieces of the barrel so that it does look a bit more inclined. As you can probably tell, my actual arm placements are actually reversed, given by the fact that I probably don't care enough about the set to probably realize that. Now, we do have these folding bits to kind of add some curvature to it, which kind of just fold out, so if you're not careful, they will drop on you. You do have the stud, the little flips for if I had any spring-loaded shooters. However, that would be a waste on this set. Now, we do have the Separatist logo here, which kind of circles around with the actual body of it. Very great. You can move these up and down. You can't really swivel them. You can swivel this, you can put it backwards, and then you can have it shoot straight up and about. If you wanted to, have a bit of a mortar shell. This piece does fall off a great chunk of the time, and then originally it did have a dark gray stud. However, I did move those onto my N1 Naboo Starfighter, or the Mandalorian's N1 Naboo Starfighter, so that they could serve a greater purpose. But approaching the end of this, we can lift this up to reveal some control panels. It's not like anybody's going to use this, because this is going to be collecting dust for the next 100 years. And also, if we turn it around, shove it on the ground, we can see some reverse 2x2 tiles, so that we can kind of just have this hover about. And by the time that we're done with this, it is time to feed the dewback, and also this is partially destroyed. I wonder why. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye. If you want to go ahead and drop a sub to feed the dewback, go ahead. That would be greatly appreciated. Okay, bye.